This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Kia ora, and welcome to Diversity Dispatch, your local queer radio show. We're your hosts, Ricky
and Percy, and we're here to bring you the latest in Dunedin queer news, community projects, events, and more.
Sit back, relax, and tune into our fortnightly show hosted on OAR FM.
Let's get started.
Hi. So we're joined here today, yet again, by Anarchy,
Hello.
and we've also got Miles.
They know my drag name.
Cherry Miles. Miles Cherry.
Cherries per miles per cherry.
Yeah, paying Miles for cherry cola. Mills.
Hi.
Yeah, so today we're just we're going, what do you call it? Like playing it by ear. Gambling.
Rambling.
Oh, rambling. Yeah,
We can do a little gambling while we're at it.
Yeah, so
I was playing solitaire on my phone yesterday,
That counts.
and someone went up to me and was like, gambling? And I was like, it's bloody solitaire.
You're like, what? I haven't placed any bets.
It wasn't even like one of the ones that you download. It's just the one that comes with the Google apps.
Oh, it was literally just
It was
built in.
literally just
the classic
the
solitaire.
default.
Some people are
Microsoft,
just-
Windows.
Some people are just always looking for something to be upset about. They're like,
Yeah.
are those playing cards? That can only mean one thing.
Go fish.
Exactly. Slay.
Go fish.
Exactly, work. I was going to say something similar, but then I was like, I'm not the right person to say that.
And then I said it.
Yeah, so playing it by ear today, I thought that maybe a really interesting subject we could be discussing could be connective tissue disorders, because we've got at least one diagnosis in the room.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed earlier this year with generalized hypermobility disorder or generalized joint hypermobility. I can't remember the exact one, but I've got a basic diagnosis of hypermobility. I had 3 different physiotherapists and an osteopath all tell me that I was hypermobile. So I just went to the doctor one day and I'm like, hey, my mechanical medicine people keep telling me that I bend too much. Can we just put it in my notes? So the doctor bends me a little bit and then she's like, yep, you stretch too much. And she just put it in the notes and just keep doing my physio and my osteo, and that keeps me pretty good.
What kind of like physio do they have you doing?
So I'm currently just seeing an osteopath. So I basically get my bones and my connective tissue and the joints massaged once a month, pushed back into place, all that good stuff. I used to have some stretches, but I forget to do them, and just having someone work on me seems to work.
That is actually such a mood, because I've struggled with a bunch of different injuries, which I think, because I don't have a diagnosis for a connective tissue disorder, but like I have a lot, if not all, of the accompanying like symptoms.
Yeah.
Because I have hypermobility in my hips and my shoulders, and like not so much. I have the skin, like the soft velvety skin that is also really
That's
stretchy.
the thing, yeah.
Because it's like for as long as I've, like when I was younger, I was always just like, why is it that my skin is just like softer than everyone else's?
How many
No,
people
like in
were
high
you
school.
touching as a kid?
How many people
I
were
mean,
touching you?
I was shaking hands.
Like when I was in high school, a lot of my friends would like be touching my face or whatever, and they'd be like, your skin is so soft. What do you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I moisturize.
I exist. I stay out of the sun.
I hide in my hovel.
Vampire.
Exactly. Yeah, because like it was funny because when I was talking to Anne the other day, Anne was talking and then like a little, kind of like choked on the words, and then I was like, "Oh, don't worry, I do that all the time." And then they're like, "Well, this is like a symptom of like connective tissue," and I was like, "What?"
Wait, it is?
So it's vocal cord dysfunction. And yeah, because obviously your vocal cords are connective tissue. So if your connective tissue is weak, you're going to have a bit of vocal cord dysfunction. For me, that mostly manifests as like randomly choking on air or my own spit, be minding my own business, and I just... But I'm fine, I swear.
And it's like insane because like I have struggled with that forever. Just in the middle of a conversation that you just... and it's just...
Like, I used to think it was normal because my mom has it too.
Yes.
I just thought it was normal.
It's not.
Apparently it's not. Maybe normal people get it sometimes at less of a frequency, but it's
And the
like a daily
symptom was
struggle.
verified by your doctor?
Not by my doctor, but it is something I've heard from other people with hypermobility and EDS, that vocal cord dysfunction and like the choking on nothing is a Is it that?
is something that people have to deal with.
Love
I
that.
thought it was just like an autism thing, but I suppose like the comorbidities, sort of that kind of can be true, or at least is very high. Because like how like was the diagnosis process long or difficult?
It was one doctor's session for me because I had already had the confirmations from the physios and the osteopath, so it was more just or less just the doctor like kind of verifying it and then being like, yeah, I'm happy to write that down for you because I didn't go in looking for an EDS diagnosis. I just went for a generalized hypermobility one. But the first thing the doctor did was she starts Googling EDS, and I'm like, I don't think it's that severe, right?
You're like, wow, I mean, I'm only in pain all the time.
Not all the time. But like, I just had a good GP, and she was happy to put it in my notes. And my main concern was just to have it in my notes in case I get worse down the line. So it's already there that this is a thing and my body might degrade further. And
because I went and saw my GP recently. So because I like in the EDS test, they specifically test all the places that I do not have hypermobility. So while he wasn't able to give me like I think he had to get at least 5 out of maybe...
It's 4 out of 9 for adults and 6 out of 9 for children.
Yes, and I got 3.
Yeah.
So, like, just one away.
I got like 3.5, but because I have the hypermobility in the shoulders and the hips, even though they don't test for that, I showed that to my doctor, and she was like, okay, yeah, like, that'll...
Maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because... what was I saying? You
went to your GP recently.
I did. You're absolutely right.
That's what you were saying.
Oh, thank you. You actually got me back on track.
Yeah.
So while I didn't get like an EDS diagnosis, what he did do is he basically wrote a letter that I'd be able to use in the case of, any agency being like, well, you should be able to do this and do that without getting hurt.
I don't like that face that you made.
I know that nobody can, like, anyone listening can't see it, but I feel like you can feel it. You can feel the face.
It's not nice.
It's not. No, right. So I'll take off my, like, government agency face and put on my regular face. Because, like, the amount of times that... Or, like, once you get, like, a diagnosis and then afterwards you sort of, like, have to address things. But, like, say this, when we had this discussion ages ago, I told you that this thing was not going to be sustainable, but you made me do it anyway. And then I got hurt and I haven't really, like, recovered it. And they're like, well, had you had the diagnosis, I would have treated you differently, wouldn't I? It's like, okay, so the benchmark is very much like, I will treat you as if you are 100% completely normal unless you have... like a very specific verified piece of paper from a doctor who...
Very black and white.
Very that, but also like...
Very that.
I'm a guy. Like I'm sort of just like learning how little doctors actually know about people like us. Like TikTok's obviously very helpful. Obviously, not saying believe everything you see on TikTok, but sometimes when people be like, this is my experience and this is the thing that I have, and you're like, cool, I might go do some actual research, but this is like a really good, launch pad.
Yeah. Like for me, when I'm like looking at stuff like that on TikTok, it's more of like something prompting me to look into something.
Yeah.
Rather than self-diagnosis based off one 10-second video.
Exactly. Like somebody being like, I got this diagnosis for 1, 2, 3 reasons. You're like, oh my God, I have eyes too. That could be me. I'm going to take a little sip of water. Oh, that sensory. Sorry to anyone with sensory issues with that.
What about our parents? Have we noticed any hypermobility in our parents and our grandparents that you notice passed down? Because for myself, both my parents have mild hypermobility symptoms. Like my dad's got plantar fasciitis. My mom gets the vocal cord dysfunction. They both have recurring joint pain. Both of them recently had surgery on their shoulders. My brother recently had an MRI on his shoulder. My paternal grandfather could always bend down, touch his toes. My maternal grandmother, she is still quite flexible in some places. And I thought I got it from just my dad at first. And then I talked to my grandmother after getting the diagnosis, and she's like, oh, yeah, I can do those bendy things that the doctor has you do. I'm like, oh, this would have been great to know in advance.
Wait, the doctor has you do that? So why did you not tell us that you have that?
Like, 'cause my grandmother also has extra bones, hereditary multiple exostoses. My mom has that, my brother has that, but somehow I didn't get that. But
What is that?
It's extra bones. It's little bone spurs in your joints. Yeah, my mom had extra ribs that she had removed.
Why?
Oh my God, that rumor was about her.
She had them removed because they were like pushing into her lungs and like poking a hole in her lungs.
That's not
But,
good.
That's horrible.
I can't imagine the HME and hypermobility is very nice on those family members. But what about you guys? Have you noticed it in your family members?
If my family members do have it, I feel like it's not something that they would bring up. But also, I feel like my family, for the most part, is just constantly battling like burnout, but no one's aware of it. And it's like, I didn't understand that I was battling with burnout until I reached like full like autistic burnout. And then I was like, oh, this is how I used to exist like after getting home from school. And I'd just like flop onto the bed and be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like as far as hypermobility goes, not that I'm aware of. But like if it was shoulders and hips, then I suppose that's not like a party trick to be like, hey guys, look how bendy my finger is.
Look, I can rotate my shoulder.
Look, I can lift my arms up above my head.
I wonder if I can get my shoulder to do the click into the microphone.
Oh, I can see it.
I don't know if you guys can hear it on
No,
the
I
mic.
I don't think it did.
Maybe it's for the best.
I don't know. You said and that I am probably hypermobile based
Yeah.
off some stuff that I can do, but that was literally like last week.
Yeah.
So
Let's call it citizens referral.
Citizens referral. Yeah, because like,
like
I'll
citizens arrest.
Yeah.
see a lot of my friends with their knees bent backwards, being able to bend their fingers backwards. It's like, has anyone ever spoken to you about hypermobility?
It's crazy because like obviously we've all managed to find each other through the art form of drag, and we all have very similar things in common, and they're all things that are almost never spoken about.
Yeah.
Like, I went to my optometrist yesterday, and I'm trying to find someone who can diagnose or at least go through the process of testing for binocular vision dysfunction, which I learned through TikTok. And basically, it's like a condition where your eyes don't necessarily meet at the exact same point. So your eyes
I've heard of
are
that.
seeing, they're functioning as two separate things, but
Yeah.
trying to work together as opposed to working as one singular thing. Because, like, for me, if I'm, like, say, putting in a contact lens or whatever, my other eye can just, like, flip around and do whatever it wants, and it doesn't stay, like, focused on the target. So, like, when I've done eye tests through my optometrist before, like, well, he's like, cover one eye and then look at the thing, and then he will just notice that, like, my other eye will just be like, la, 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 doing whatever it wants. And he's like, curious.
Googly eyes.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, googly eyes. Yeah, so, like, small things like that, and just when you're like, okay, I might look into that, and then you Google it, it's like, there isn't a single person in your city that can diagnose this or whatever.
Oh, brilliant.
So then you have to run around, and then people like optometrists or specialists or whatever, they're like, I kind of know what that is, but I don't know, so I'm going to have to like Google it and stuff. I'm like, cool, so we're exactly the same then. Yeah, but my optometrist did manage to find somebody who can do it, and they are in the city, so that is
that's good.
a happy accident. Yeah, but
Well,
just like
I'd imagine there's connective tissue keeping your eyeballs in place.
Oh my god.
I would imagine that too. So that's the thing.
Again.
That's why I need like a very specific, like, yes, connective tissue, definite. Well, I mean, I've pretty much got a fibromyalgia
Yeah.
diagnosis. Or
What
maybe
is
I
that?
do. Fibromyalgia is basically just like a chronic pain condition, but it specifically affects like muscles and connective tissue. So it's like when your nervous system's just, or not necessarily nervous system, but like when your body has a heightened sensitivity to stimuli or pain. Yeah, so it's just like things are very painful all the time, but also that could just be, it may be fibro, it may also just be connective tissue that's undiagnosed. So maybe I'm experiencing a reasonable amount of pain for something that is just gone unnoticed this whole time. Yeah, so it's just very tricky. And it's the kind of thing where it's like you can't just show up to your doctor and be like, can you figure this out for me? It's very like, okay, I've been doing an absolute ton of like research on my own, and now I'm bringing it here to you. And then they're like, maybe you just need a glass of water.
The doctors, when I was trying to get my IBS sorted out, IBS is definitely another connective tissue one.
Is it?
Yes, because your guts are made of connective tissue. But so getting my IBS diagnosis was before my hypermobility diagnosis. But in the year between high school and university, my gap year, it got quite bad, and I kept going to doctors trying to get some sort of diagnosis of something. So I'm like, something's up. Like, something is not right. I don't care. Nothing's coming up on the blood test. Like, look in my guts or something, please. And there was a certain male doctor I'd have to see from time to time, and he'd just be like, are you sure you're not pregnant?
Why does this podcast, whatever, have to be censored?
Does being pregnant cause symptoms associated with IBS?
Well, I actually know a little bit about this because the menstrual cycle and everything, it relaxes the muscles and it also releases hormones that affect with the way the muscles work, especially, and sometimes those hormones sort of like flow over to the bowels and everything. So,
Which could just relax the bowels.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I might have endometriosis, and that might have been on my bowels as well.
Yeah,
Which might have screwed it up a bit, but we're hoping that the testosterone has like shrunk all the endometriosis.
You'd hope so.
I haven't been on T long, but like it hasn't done anything for my cramps.
I mean,
It takes a while.
Yeah.
It takes about a year.
Take a bit
It
longer.
takes a while.
I just got my year shot yesterday.
Woo! Oh my god, I just had my 4-year shot on Monday as well.
That's
my
so
goodness,
fun. We should have a birthday
Years.
party.
Have a man birthday.
Yes. Wait, when do men typically start puberty?
Like
Men typically
12.
start around 12, yeah.
Oh, okay, so you can
And on
celebrate your...
and on HRT, you're like speed running it. You're like 2 years to every 1 year on HRT.
Oh,
So I'm now sitting at like 18-year-old boy.
perfect.
I'm a grown ass adult man now. I just gotta wait for the facial hair to start thickening up.
I'm
Exactly.
a 14-year-old boy, but I've got that sweet, juicy facial hair.
Peach fuzz. Oh yes.
No, it's not. I'm going to see what grows because I've been shaving, but I'm going to see what grows now. I'm going to stop shaving for a bit.
I found that like the longer that when I first started growing facial hair, I wore it for a while, and it was a lot thinner than it is now. And the longer that I had it just doing its thing, the more it like filled out. But also that could have just been, me finishing puberty and stuff, and just being like, I think we'll add some more hairs. Let's add another shade layer. Yeah.
Because I've noticed a heap of facial hair thickening in the last year alone, just since starting drag and needing to shave every time I get into drag. And before I started drag, I was like going at my face with the clippers maybe once every 3 months. But since starting drag, it's kind of started to really come through. It's almost annoying.
Almost.
I'm just getting a ton of ingrowns on my neck. It's not fun.
No. Enjoy that.
Thanks.
It's all part of the territory, isn't it?
Territory.
Ladies and gentlemen, to the stage, territory. I thought of a silly drag name yesterday. I'm going to pull up my phone. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, so let's see if it's appropriate. It may not be, and if it's not, then I'll save that and put it in my back pocket.
We'll put it on our special surprise podcast that's in the works.
Exactly. Serena Deputy.
Serena Deputy.
Or just like Serene. Hi, I'm Serene. Serene Deputy.
A lot of people don't know that word.
No, I know, but then that'll like cause them to be like, "That's a silly name." You're like, "It's actually a word. It's a play on words." They're like, "What does it mean?" It's
I feel like that sort of is an assumption that people make with drag queens. So it's like even if you don't get it, it's something.
Yeah.
but it's like sometimes sometimes it sounds like a pun. You're like, that seems like such a strange like grouping of like syllables and vowels to put together. You're like, surely there's something that I'm missing. Or at least maybe that's just my autistic brain reading too much into most things. Also, a drag king name, Major Arcana, from like tarot cards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, does anyone have any funny little anecdotes I'd like to tell everyone?
I got stupidly, massively drunk last night.
Oh, we allowed to say
Gorgeous.
it on the radio.
I don't know, you asked for anecdotes.
Yeah, not that one. Do you guys dream?
Very rarely for me. I love dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I love having them. I love thinking about them.
Me too.
I do be using a medicine that prevents me from dreaming, the good old green stuff.
Oh, is
for
that
the
a
chronic
thing?
pain.
Yeah.
Because the first time I tried that medicine, I had a massively vivid dream.
Oh, well, sometimes, but like if you are like a chronic smoker like me, like somebody who's using it for chronic pain, like it does after a while you don't have as many dreams because it affects like your REM sleep. But you know, I would rather maybe not get a proper sleep cycle than be in pain most of the day.
Yeah. Also, I have a couple of friends that, like, for as long as they've, like, throughout their, like, teenage years, they would have, like, the most horrific nightmares forever. And then, and, like, as well as other chronic pain things, they've used the same medication. And, yeah, it's, like, stopped their dreams altogether, which obviously for them, like, dreaming is something that was not a positive experience ever. That's super helpful for them.
Yeah.
But it's like, for me, I dream pretty much every night in pristine detail. And that's probably why I wake up exhausted all the time, or at least one reason. But I suspect that maybe I dream lots just because like my nervous system's a bit like, you know, I didn't
What
make
does
it.
mean?
You had to be there. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely had to be there.
Had to be there, had to see it.
Exactly.
You see it to believe it.
Exactly. Or even smell it. No.
Whoever smelt it dealt it.
I thought of like a smelter,
It smelled it.
like is where you make like aluminium and stuff.
Yeah.
There's one in Bluff. And I was like, whoever smelter, Delta, Goodra, woo. No.
What?
Don't worry, just word vomit.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, so me with my dreams, I quite often will wake up and I'll be like, wow, I could write an entire like movie script on how much information stuff was there. Are you the type of people that enjoy hearing about other people's dreams?
Yeah.
Yes, but can I quickly nip in and ask, have either of you ever had a dream that you've gone back to and like a month later? Like you've resumed where you left off in a previous dream?
Somewhat. I have a lot of like recurring locations in my dreams,
Yeah.
and they're kind of like recreations of like my old school, places I used to work, like places I just spent a lot of time at. Because it won't be exactly that place, but it will be
A variation of it.
It's like a lot of recurring places in the same place very often.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one. The most common like setting for any of my dreams is actually like the Muttonbrood Island that
Oh, yeah.
I used to go to when I was younger. Obviously, I haven't been because I've been not around that area because, you know, there's a better queer environment here as opposed to down on the islands and stuff where everyone's like, what's that? What's that rainbow stuff?
Rainbow stuff.
But like I was what
Period.
what I was getting at though is because I have had like this entire action movie, which is why I thought of it when you were talking about that. But and I've just like it took part in like 3 different dreams, and like the first couple were sort of around like within a couple months of each other, and then the third one took place like a few months later, and it was like whoa.
I've had dreams carry on, but only within, like, if I wake up and go back to sleep and then wake up and go back to sleep. Except there is, like, one reoccurring, I don't even know if it's a dream, but, like, I remember when I was, like, literally, like, a toddler, like, under 5 years old, there was this one dream that I would have that was, it was more of a feeling than, like there was no, like... everything was completely white, and I feel like I could see planet Earth from like a mile away, and like space was just like bright white for some reason. And it was like you could hear. It was weird. It was, but like, and now thinking about that, I'm like, when I woke up, I felt real weird. And I was like, I think this was like my little ADHD child self experiencing like a dopamine depletion or serotonin depletion, like waking up from a dream and like, ugh, and just like, because like I've had feelings similar to that before. Like I've woken up from dreams or from a sleep with a similar drained feeling. And I'm just like, wow, I feel like how I used to feel when I was a toddler waking up from one of those weird dreams. And on that note, that's pretty much us for time.
Wow.
You didn't tell us about your dream.
No, I wasn't going to. But, like, I appreciate the interest. Maybe on the next one. But, like, I've got a few dreams that I could dip into. Oh, we could analyse some dreams.
Analyze some dreams.
I love doing that.
Yeah, because every neurodivergent person is a psychologist. You heard it here first. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
And that's a wrap for today. Diversity Dispatch airs fortnightly on Thursdays at 5 p.m. So if you like today's episode, then be sure to join us in a couple of weeks for the next installment on OAR FM.
And check out the podcast on oar.org.nz and your favourite podcast platforms. Tune in for more chill chats, fun facts, and upcoming local events on Diversity Dispatch.
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.